So, okay. It's online. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to begin the process. As you know, we have three majors here today. Today, the three majors include FAO launching of the Nutrition Sensitive Agriculture Toolkit or Technical Manual. We have ANSRC, KNDI MOU, and then we have SGM at the end of it all for the professionals from across the country. So today, we are beginning big. And for you to begin big well, you must begin in the name of God, isn't it? So I would like to invite the CEO, Dr. David Okeyo, to lead us in a word of prayer. Thank you very much, Professor Nguka, who is our MC for today and also has an assignment. So the moment you are told to pray, the angels record it straight away. And so I'd request you to stand up so that we can give honor to the Lord. No, you can sit, ma'am. Oh, she's okay. Yes. So in Matthew 24, verse 46, blessed is the man that when he comes shall be found so doing. And so we are here for a very important function. And so we shall pray for the nation of Kenya. Let us bow and pray. Almighty and everlasting Father, Lord, we want to thank you this morning. We thank you for your great name. We thank you to glorify your name. We praise your holy name because you are Jehovah. Father, we want to pray for this country, the good nation of Kenya. We pray for the leadership of the country, the executive, beginning with the President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency, Dr. Ruto. Father, we want to thank you again for our leader of opposition for this country. We thank you for all the executives, the cabinet secretaries, the PSS. We thank you even for those of us who are the CEOs and those who are doing service to humanity in this country. We believe, Lord, that you gave us a duty and you said, blessed is the man that when you come shall be found so doing. We are here yet again to do this nation a great justice. We are here to conduct an exercise that will be eye-opener for all the professionals in nutrition and dietetics and those who are key players in nutrition and dietetics in the country, beginning from agriculture, ending up to our health facilities, that is health sector. Father, we thank you in advance that at the end of this, we shall be careful to give you all the glory because of your doing. We believe that you are a God who does not share his glory with anyone. And that is why we are here again to ask you to give us the spirit of guidance, the spirit of excellence. And as you do that, Lord, we shall be careful again to return all the glory. We pray for this KNDI, the council members, and also the staff. We pray for everyone that is challenged in one way or the other, and for the nation of Kenya at large. We pray all this believing and trusting in the name of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. K. After that, we are supposed to have the Kenyan national anthem. I hope you are getting ready. possible, we'll do the national anthem and the East African anthem. Creation. Let one heart Excellent. Let's be seated. So after that, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to move through this process. Feel at home at the Kenya Nutritionists and Dietitians Institute headquarters at Sabaki. And I would like to welcome our guests in those three major sectors, beginning with our FAO team. We have the head of the delegation from FAO, Missy Williams. I know he's held up somewhere, but he will be with us. We have Irene Kimani, who is also my classmate. Irene, you can wave so that you can be seen from all over. No, we are not just here, but we also have about 3,000 outside there to look at you. Then we have Angela Kimani and Angela Theuri. They could be here, but they're committed. The ANSRC team, we have our Secretary General, Professor Bonnie Dunbar. Can wave, Professor. We have the ANSRC CEO, Dr. Edwardina Ndine. We have the host of the ANSRC, the Director of Columbia Global Center, Nairobi, Regional Director, Dr. Ndirangu. Then, of course, myself as the chair there in ANSRC, Professor Nguka Gordon. I know I also play a role here in KNDI. So we are going now to welcome our Ministry of Agriculture. Minister of Agriculture will be headed by the PS, but PS is not in, so we'll have Jane Wambugu. Jane Wambugu, I think they have seen you. Okay. Oh, PS is on the way. We are waiting for the PS. He's going to join us. From the Ministry of Agriculture, we have Mary Njeri. Oh, she's somewhere. And of course, we need to make you aware that we already had the PS head of communication here with us. I realized the communication, fear communication. So they want to remain behind the curtains, but he's here with us. At KNDI, we have the chair of the Kenya Nutritionists and Dietitians Institute. She's online, Dr. Evelyn Grikacha, who is also a senior lecturer at the nutrition department of Pwani University. She's online. I don't know, Dr. if you're online, could you unmute so that you just greet the team with this? Please.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I hope you can be able to see me. I'm delighted to be in this occasion, and I take this opportunity to again welcome you to KNDI. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have other council members. Some are sitting here. So I will start with the ones that are sitting here. We have council member Bernice Kendi. Ms. Bernice Kendi. We have other council members, some of whom may be online. We have Dr. Soti from the Ministry of Health, representing the Director General in the Council, could be online. We also have the Director of Nutrition Services in Kenya, Veronica. Veronica is now represented by Leila. Leila is now sitting in for Veronica. Yeah, okay. So I was forgetting some of my two colleagues. So one of them, which representing the COFEC in KNDI, is Judith Kobe. Judith Kobe is a member of the council. We also have Peter Nda, who is in charge of finance and dealing with our matters. It's a CPA, Peter Nda. So those are members of the council, third council of the Kenya Nutrition and Dietitians Institute. And then myself, Professor Nguka Gordon, who is the chair of the accreditation committee and a member of the council. But we also have the research wing for
this body called ATRI. I chair that ATRI, and we sit there with Bunnies here and other members there. Quality, purity, yes. I was forgetting about Purity. Purity Chege is a member of the council and also the vice chair of accreditation. Purity Chege is online. She's coming. She's on her way. So those are the members of the council that we have. And so feel part and parcel. I will not forget Dr. Keo, who is the CEO, and he's also a member of the council, an ex officio member of the council, and he's our host. So I think he'll be saying much when it's come. Remember to welcome colleague CEOs, including from the ANSRC side. Right? Then from there, we will have other guests that are going to join us, especially from Machakos, who is the host county today. And we'll continue recognizing members. More importantly, that we need to recognize are also our interns. The Kenya Nutrition and Dietetics Institute runs an internship program that is put in the law, and we have representation of interns here, but we can have one member of the intern just to stand up and say hi. Lady, let me begin with the lady. Ladies first. Any lady strong enough? Just stand up, represent. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. Intern in which area? Public health nutrition. Beautiful. We have 6 areas. So then let me have a gentleman. It will be unfair to. Oh, beautiful. Thank you very much. So we are fully represented in all facets, and we are going to follow up on this very strongly. So after that, we have the CNCs, the county nutrition coordinators, and in some counties they're called county nutrition directors, director of nutrition services. If there is no one here, Dr. I don't know whether Margaret is in. Margaret can greet us to represent the CNCs, the county nutrition coordinators or directors of nutrition services. Or Oscar? Is Oscar online? Margaret was online. Margaret Oyugi.
Yes, well, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much. Yes, I'm online.
Okay. Thank you very much. So we have our CNCs out there, 70 something, or there are 47 of them. 47 of them sitting outside there, and they are with us here. So thank you very much. With that, we have the CECs. I thought the CECs, we are going to have them here. Our CECs, health, CECs, agriculture. One CEC to talk to us. Okay, we also have training institutions, both at university and at middle-level colleges, TVETA. Yeah. University level, Dr. Agatha.
Yeah. Okay, good morning, colleagues. Thank you. I'm happy to be here, to be part of the team. Thank you.
And I think I had Dr. Konyole online. Doc, now you can represent the male gender. Now does Dr. Agatha. Okay. Okay. So we'll be able to move on. I think we have welcomed all sectors, the training institutions. If there is anybody, maybe the TVETA level, the representation from mid-level colleges. Yeah. North Coast. North Coast. Okay.
Sorry, Doc. We are trying to get them to be co-hosts because some of them are not online.
Okay.
And once they're there, we'll alert you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, then. Thank you very much. So we will be moving on, but now you can be able to agree with me that this is a big event with the entire nation focused here today. Of course, our focus today is on agriculture or nutrition-sensitive agriculture, which is the major platform. It has become the center of focus on today's aspect that bring health and nutrition together. The nutrition-sensitive agriculture, led by the FAO team, and has brought us today here. So very quickly, after that recognition, allow me to invite the CEO to make his remarks.
Good morning, professionals and co-workers or co-laborers in the service of Kenya. First of all, before I make my statement, I want to say that you are all welcome at KNDI, and I want to believe that you are at peace in this beautiful place, right at the center where vegetables are grown and chicken are around. So they form part of the city. And not at any given time, we can do away with them, except we can advise them on how best they can take care of the vegetables to make it awesome. So that is why we moved from the city center where there is noise to come to Mlolongo where there is peace. And this peace will create a center of peace for nutrition and dietetics and agriculture. And that is why we are here. And I want to say that it's a symbol to represent the domain of the nature of multi-sectoral aspect of nutrition. And I've always said nutrition is not just a pure health event, let me call it event, or not project, but it's also a multi-sectoral event cutting across many disciplines, including agriculture, health, and not forgetting food industry. And so most of us have been here listening to us, accrediting food products that have nutrition claims is because we want to make sure that the humans are protected by giving them healthy food beyond the diamond mark of quality. So I want to get to thank God that I am the first to give a welcome remark and also a technical remark. And I want to say that I've just come from Mombasa yesterday, where the State Department for Public Health and Regulation is developing its current strategic plan. And we are part of that process. And it is coming out very well because people have never thought of agriculture to be a public health matter. We have always seen agriculture as a food matter and safety matter, but we forgot about the health. The value chain of food from fork to table is very critical in human health. And so just before I left, I said I must leave a strategic direction for nutrition-sensitive agriculture, in addition to the usual maternal and child health focus. And we have to be very, very prompt with that. So I want to read my statement. And this is a situational analysis of nutrition and dietetics in Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, and the professionals, you cannot go wrong with nutrition. If you invest more in nutrition, then you can save more for the country. And those who are in service delivery says that we lose 374 billion Kenyan shillings per year because of malnutrition. And so malnutrition is the core focus, but there's so many things around malnutrition. The Kenya Health Sector Strategy Investment Plan 2018 to 2023, which is ending this year, the midterm review indicated that very two critical indicators for nutrition was stunting and wasting. I was asking, where are the other parameters of nutrition? That is critical. But the good thing is that from the current KDHS 2022, stunting has considerably reduced from 26 to 17.6%. That is a plus. However, the question we'll be asking, is it real? How much have we covered with the sample size to determine whether stunting is truly 17.6? But we want to believe the demographic survey because that is the best statistics we can have in the country. We have also seen this time round obesity decreasing from 4% to 3% among children. This is also an indicator for good things in nutrition. But we also have challenges. Interventions in nutrition purely depend on the partner and donor funding. recognized by every little Kenyan and also the policymakers and politicians. When we sat with the politicians, they discovered that they have never heard anything about nutrition. But they got the understanding that nutrition is critical and is a solution.
Did you know that Golang is one of the most popular programming languages in the world? That's right. According to the latest Stack Overflow developer survey, almost 12% of all professional programmers use Go at work. That's because Go is powerful, lightning fast, flexible, and easy to learn. Over 60% of the respondents who used Golang said they loved it, and we think you will too. You just have to give it a try. The only question is, how are you going to learn Golang? Well, we've got good news. We have an online course that will help you learn Go quickly and easily. Introducing Golang Fundamentals, a new course available now from discountcourses.com. This self-paced online course will teach you full-stack web development with Golang from scratch, no experience required. This course is 14 hours long and consists of 107 different lectures that you can watch at your own pace and rewatch as many times as you like. In this course, you'll learn full-stack web development with the Go programming language. This course begins by covering the Golang basics, syntax, variables, operators, control flow, functions, etc. Then it switches to web development skills and operating web servers. After you finish all the videos, your completion certificate will be issued automatically. But more importantly, after you finish this course, you'll know Go, and you'll be able to build full-stack web applications with Go from scratch. If you've been wanting to learn Go, then this is the class you've been waiting for. Now you might be wondering, how much does this course cost and where can I get it? Good questions. This course offers thousands of dollars of value. It not only improves your skill set, but gives you hands-on experience in a tech stack that is in high demand. This makes you more attractive to employers and helps you qualify for more senior positions. That's why you'll find our competitors charging between $97 and $200 for this course, but not us. We're Discount Courses. We offer the exact same courses that our competitors offer, but for the lowest possible price. We monitor our competitors and constantly adjust our prices to make sure nobody is offering our courses for less. That's why we offer a lowest price guarantee. If you can find this course selling for a lower price anywhere on the internet, we'll beat that price 100% guaranteed. To see what price we're offering for this course today, visit discount-courses.com. Once you get there, you can watch preview lectures, read the course syllabus, and enroll in the course. We accept credit cards and PayPal. Your checkout is secure, and like we said earlier, we guarantee we offer the lowest prices on the internet.
And we are calling it Sustainable Food Systems, Diet and Health Inequalities and Policy. To give a strategic direction to the governments and the health sector in entirety to refocus. We know from the Global Nutrition Report 2022 that imbalances in food systems are major drivers of dietary and nutritional inequities. And they can restrict across the diet and promote low quality diets. There's need for food system to become a core in government agenda. Already, the Institute's management is negotiating with Tom Mboya University College in their constituency. They have a big piece of land there. And the member of parliament from Ndewa is ready to give that land, where we'll start a capacity building and nutrition center for nutrition sensitive agriculture. We know we have a such center in Pwani University again, which is beginning soon. Are you called to be part of it? We want to welcome all the key players in nutrition to rethink and move away from politics and begin to think, can nutrition be a solution to this country? Does the current CS understand nutrition and the PS, including PS agriculture? Do they understand it from the lens of health and food and soil? How can we repackage nutrition to give it holistic nature as we move towards One Health? Thank you very much. I hope this gives you the background for the discussion for today. Thank you very much.
It almost turned into a lecture hall. Very beautiful presentation. And take home from there is that the only solution to One Health is nutrition sensitive agriculture. And that is what the clarion call today, which is pegged on the FAO National Training Package on Nutrition Sensitive Agriculture and Food Systems Programming. The good thing and advantage we have, nutrition is a very rich profession. We have specialists in food systems, and they are here with us. I can see some faces here. You will have to provide solution and ensure. Meanwhile, I think we are expecting the PS soon, and therefore the CEO has gone down to get the PS and any other critical personnel that may be needed. You'll be free to go down there. After the remark by the CEO, as we wait for the PS, I would like to make just a short remark and then call in the chair for Kenya Nutritionists and Dieticians Institute. I think a number of things have already been mentioned by the KNDI CEO. The multi-stakeholderness of this forum, and not only that, but harnessing the various subspecialties to be able to bring into play all our key faculties to ensure that the nutrition sensitive agriculture is achieved. There is a key aspect that has been highlighted by Dr. Okeo, which I think needs to be taken over by the government. It is important to ensure that as a government, we provide critical allocation to be able to support that aspect of One Health, bringing the Minister of Health, Minister of Agriculture, Ministry of Trade together to be able to deal with issues around food and nutrition security, and ensuring that our focus goes down to the primary healthcare, but more importantly, at the spectrum of promotive and preventive health. And that is at the household level. And that is why within the field of nutrition and dietetics, we have classified 6 major specialties, namely the clinical nutrition, clinical dietetics, the food service diet therapy as curative, but then we have the public health, community nutrition and food science nutrition as more of preventive and promotive. Now that is an aspect that I can now thank the current minister, the current cabinet secretary of health, that has brought to focus. And I saw the allocation. Allocation is one thing. We were able to discuss this allocation in Mombasa, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I saw there is some level of increased allocation to community and public health nutrition with other team members to be able to play a role in promotive health in the community. And for the first time, I've seen a focus to be able to fund and employ community health workers, about 90,000 of them, that we say that is a frontline health workers that is inclusive of all the profession, nutrition included. And therefore, that's a good direction, in as much as we'll also be relying on the donor to be able to help input into these aspects. So we call upon all players to be able to gather around the national training package on nutrition sensitive agriculture and food systems programming, to promote it not only at the level of service delivery, but even from the level of training. I think Dr. K has mentioned the primary school level, tertiary level, that is diploma and degree. And we want to move further now with the MOU between us, between the KNDI and ANSRC, to be able to move training into postgraduate training, PhD and masters. And that is very critical. So with that short remark, may I now call upon the chair of the Kenya Nutritionists and Dietitians Institute to also give her remarks. Dr. Evelyn Grikacha is online. Meanwhile, as Dr. is coming in, please set up the chair. I would like to recognize the entry of the program lead for FAO. I don't know whether that is the correct position. Bana Salim, we had welcomed you when you were away. While you are away, we welcome Hamisi William. We welcomed you. And it's important now if you can just say hi. There's a place where you will now have your speech, but say hi so that you're recognized. Thank you, Bana Salim. Dr. Evelyn? Dr.
Thank you, Professor. I was unable to unmute myself. That's why I've taken time. Good morning, everybody, once again.
Dr. Agriculture, you can unmute yourself, Chair.
Department of Food Nutrition and Dietetics at Pwani University as a senior lecturer. So today we are here to discuss the nutrition sensitive agriculture and food systems program. And the global nutrition crisis was worsened by the COVID-19 pandemic, with persons who were moderately or severely food insecure increasing to almost a third, that is 29.3% of the world's population. As outlined by the 2022 Global Nutrition Report. At the same time, our diets fail to meet the minimum standards of a healthy and sustainable diet. For instance, when we give out food aid to people who are drought stricken, sometimes they are only provided with maize, which is purely carbohydrates and which is not sufficient for the body. Sometimes even when these people are given this maize, they are unable to cook it because even drinking water, cooking water is a problem to them. And therefore, you find that it is not really helping them that much. It is not giving them all the nutrients that they require. The resultant effects have been an increase in obesity and diet-related non-communicable diseases at epidemic levels. The Kenyan economy has not been spared from the impact of COVID-2019. The severe drought that followed worsened the situation, with Kenya's global hunger index at 23%, which is considered very serious, and it requires immediate address by use of this nutrition sensitive agriculture and food systems program, where people are going to start growing crops that grow very fast, and they can use those crops to be able to meet their nutritional needs immediately. Now, more than ever, we need to focus on a sustainable food system that not only ensures that a nation is food secure, and when we talk of food security, we are looking at availability and accessibility of food to all households. But the food provided is nutritious across the life cycle or across the populations, while at the same time, economically and socially sustainable, with a positive and neutral impact on the natural environment, ensuring that food security for future generation is not compromised. This includes both areas with physical space for them to conduct or to carry out this farming, and those areas with less space. And there are technologies that can be used, especially for those that have no space, those who are living in urban areas, where they can use, for example, organoponics. They can use rooftops to carry out their gardening. They can also use multi-story gardens. They can use their buckets. They can use their pathways so that they plant their vegetables. They can plant their tomatoes and other early maturing crops along there. The National Training Package on Nutrition Sensitive Agriculture and Food Systems Development comes at a very opportune time. It will play a critical role in eradicating poverty. That is, every household will be able to feed itself and also have something extra for other functions, improving the Kenyan economy. Once people have food, then the economy will grow, because they will not be living on hand to mouth, and improving nutrition outcome. This has to be done at high level using current agricultural technologies that are available and can be given to our people so that they start practicing them and making themselves food secure. Agriculture, the prerequisite of a healthy diet, is the primary source of livelihood for over 75% of the population and the very heartbeat of the Kenyan economy. Potentially, if the population is feeding on nutritious diets, consuming right proportion of food as per their height, exercising, consuming safe drinking water, and living in safe environment, then achieving universal health care will be done amicably in any nation of the world. This manual has potentially positively transformed the nutrition situation in Kenya, and this can be done through the food production pathways, which comprises of two components, that is agriculture as a result of direct food source, agriculture as key driver of food prices, and then the production pathway directly affects food availability and diversity, which is very, very important. I applaud the multi-sectoral approach used to develop the manual. It's very commendable to see the government, the private sector, and donors working together for a common goal, because the interest of anybody is to ensure that the population is healthy. I also challenge you to continue using all platforms available to continue raising awareness on the National Training Package on Nutrition Sensitive Agriculture and Food Systems, to all working in different sectors, which contribute to improving nutrition directly or indirectly. This approved national training package for nutrition-sensitive agriculture will enhance Kenya Nutritionist and Dietitian Institute functions, which targets to maintain the competence of members by updating their knowledge through publications and the conduct of continuing professional education. Also providing training for nutritionists and dietitians and design programs and methods for sensitization on suitable dietary and nutritional habits. Once people have the correct dietary and nutritional habits, then we are going to have a healthy population. As a chairperson, I wish to invite all professionals to embrace this new development by the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock, Fisheries, and the cooperatives in pushing the agenda for reducing malnutrition from agricultural domain. This is because that is how we are going to have households which are food secure, which are poverty eradicated in them, and therefore that will lead to a healthy population. Thank you. Over to you.
Yes, yes, Chair, I can hear you. Thank you very much, Dr. Evelyn, the Chair, Kenya Nutrition and Dietetics Institute, for that very relating speech that has brought the partners of multi-sector aspects of nutrition together. Now, after the Chair, we are now beginning to get to where the rubber meets the road. I would like to invite Irene Kimani to take over from here and help us go through the nutrition's sensitive agriculture highlights or synopsis, some technical briefs of the package. So Irene, welcome. For those of you who may not know, Irene is a nutritionist, by excellence. And I said, when people in Kenya are asking, who is your classmate? Irene is my classmate. So we can go to court together to defend each other.
Thank you very much, Professor. Yeah. I am Ms. Irene Kimani, working as a lead nutritionist in FAO Kenya. And as Dr. Okeo has rightly mentioned, addressing malnutrition requires a multi-sectoral, multi-partner approach. For us, FAO, we work together with partners. I like the remarks that were given by the previous speaker. The need to have that multi-partner approach towards addressing malnutrition. And the package that has brought us today here, the Nutrition Sensitive Agriculture and Food System Training Package, actually recognized that. And I would like to say that for us, FAO, we play the role of strengthening institutional capacities for delivery or transformation of agri-food system towards delivery of healthy diet. That is in relevance to today's launch. And what we have done, we have combined our presentation. We have Madam Jane Wambugu from the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, who will be taking us through the policy landscape on nutrition under the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock Development. And then I'll take you through the details of the package so that you get to understand the content. Even before you get to read, you get to appreciate it even better. So welcome, Madam Jane Wambugu, and then she'll hand over to me.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Ministry of Agriculture, we are very delighted to be in this forum and to make a presentation on why we think and why we are doing nutrition-sensitive agriculture and why agriculture is important in this discourse of nutrition. I'll present on the policy landscape, and then my colleague will present on the package that is answering on this. the mandate of the Ministry of Agriculture. It is on food and nutrition security. And under this, it is guided by the Food and Nutrition Security Policy 2012 as the document that gives the policy direction. We have a latest policy document on agriculture policy, and this one is on transforming crops, livestock, and fishery production for sustainable food and nutrition security. We also have from the policy document, we have the strategy that is really a live document. And this strategy is Agriculture Sector Transformation and Growth Strategy, developed in 2019-2029. And under the one of the anchor number 3 is on boosting food and nutrition resilience. The SDGs has 9 pillars, and pillar number 3 is where we anchor nutrition and where food resilience is addressed. Under the area of nutrition, we have Kenya Nutrition Action Plan 2018-2022, the document we are about to review from June this year. And from this document, guiding nutrition activities in the country, we at the key resort area number 10, we have the Kenya, we have scaling up nutrition in agriculture. And this is where we have taken up to have the Kenya Agri-Nutrition Implementation Strategy 2020-2025. This is a document that's speaking for nutrition in agriculture. And this is where that accelerated delivery of key resort area number 10, and this is where nutrition is very key in agriculture. Under this, we have not been working alone. We have been working at the Food and Nutrition Linkage Technical Working Group. This is a very important working group because it is where all the partners, the private, the public, and the private actors discuss monthly on what is nutrition, especially nutrition sensitive agriculture. The chair is the Ministry of Agriculture. The co-chair is the FAO. Thank you. And we also have Ministry of Health as the secretariat in this. This is where we synergize. We also have other partners, the UN agencies, the UNICEF, the WFP. All those UN agencies are part of the linkage working group. The other NGOs and also development partners, academia, and also the research organization. The universities actually comes in very handy. And this is where also the KNDI is normally represented through the universities and also other, even the partners we also have. Sorry. Okay. Sorry, I don't know whether I missed something. Sorry. Yes, sorry. I would wish to. Yeah, I may have. Sorry. Yes. I would wish to say what are the challenges. Okay, we have this forum. We have the various actors. But what is it? What is nutrition sensitive agriculture? What is this we are talking about? This is an approach that seeks to maximize the positive impact of agriculture and food system on nutritional outcomes while minimizing the consequences of agriculture programming. We have many programs, both in agri-crops and both in livestock, and most of them, the pathways and the way the outcomes is what we are maximizing by talking about nutrition sensitive agriculture. And I'll briefly take us through the agriculture to nutrition pathway. What is it? If we have to improve nutrition from agriculture, what should we do? There are 3 pathways. And the 3 pathways, we have the food production pathway, we have the income pathway, and we have the women pathway. I'll briefly take us through the food production pathway. What does it mean? If we have to improve nutrition from a food production pathway, If we have food, we are producing food and a diversity of food as that, and that food is consumed, and we will have nutrient intake, and automatically there will be nutrition out, the child nutrition outcome will be improved. The other pathway is if we have producing food and we have food, the prices of food automatically, if you are producing enough, will go down, meaning there would be food expenditure will go down and there will be food consumption. So that's another pathway on food production. The other pathway is on income. We are talking about agriculture and we get money. When we produce food and we sell, the food expenditure, the money we get, we can expend it for food, or we can expend it for non-food expenditure, like taking care of our health at family level. What it means, if we expend the food money for food, there will be food in the family. For example, those who are growing coffee, those who are growing cotton, those who are growing sugarcane, that's the income pathway. If they get that money, the assumption is that money will go to buying more food what they are not growing, or they'll be consuming, and that those food bought now they can consume. The other way is they can take care of their health. When they sell their sugar, when they sell their coffee, you take care of their health by that money, meaning that is the health care and also the health status of that family or the household will be improved. So those are the way we are looking at agriculture contributing to nutrition outcome. Those are two. I'll deal with the third one of the women. We sometimes forget the role of women in when we're talking about nutrition. They are the caregivers, and apart from that, they are the ones also, when they receive the money, they can decide what to do. So when the woman is empowered, they are able even to decide, this money I've received, what should I do with it? So that money can buy the non-food expenditure and can also take care of the health of the family, improve the healthy status, and automatically the nutrition outcome will be improved. The other is on food, the other pathway is on food expenditure. What it means, we can have the food, once the woman is empowered, they are able to choose what light food to buy, which type of food to improve, to bring to the household. Finally, the women, when they are empowered, the child care practices. When a woman is educated, studies are being conducted. When you educate a woman, even the choices they make on what to prepare, how to prepare, expenses of the household, they are well improved when the woman is empowered, especially through education. And also, when the woman is empowered, by even reducing the workload of the woman. What do we mean by workload? At the rural level where the women contribute 70%, these women, if their energy expenses, they can keep moving from one point to the other in the kitchen. But if this woman is empowered, instead of that woman collecting firewood, why not a biogas, especially in the rural areas, to improve on the energy consumption? Why not even have that, even when they are raising, especially when they have to raise the animals, zero grazing, why not even have a shaft cutter instead of the woman cutting with a pagger? So those are the energy savings technologies we are talking about. From the kitchen, you have an improved cook stove, to how the women are raising the animals, to the loads they do, to the workload they do. So we are talking of reducing the workload of the household so that the woman is empowered to make the right decision on what to prepare and how to prepare it, and taking time to prepare a meal. Out of all this I've talked about, we have faced a number of challenges in promoting healthy diet through agri-food system. One of them is the capacity gap of actors, both across the food system, within the private sector and even within the government. The other one is a lack of a nationally contextualized guidelines on entry for improved through agriculture and food system. We have not had, as I had mentioned earlier, it has been assumed that nutrition is a health issue. So all the documents that we were getting from the health. The document were not speaking to agriculture on how to improve on this. The other one is inadequate consumer awareness on the importance of healthy diet, and as well as the perception of nutrition as a sole responsibility of health. We had left the issue of nutrition for a long time to be with the health until even the health came and told us, can you do your part? Even if we do what we do, we can only reduce the levels of malnutrition to 30%, and studies have been shown that when you do nutrition specific, and you do it 100%, the issue of levels of malnutrition can only be reduced by 30%. So the other 70% is with agriculture, health, education, and social protection. All of them combined to do the other 70%. Therefore, we need to there have been inadequate multi-sectoral coordination for nutrition. It's the GOK, the UN, the private sector, and research. Why? Without assumption, it is like nutrition. When the Minister of Agriculture would go on a table for nutrition on a multi-sectoral discussion, they would wait to hear what the health sector is doing about fighting levels of malnutrition. Meaning, we were missing in action by not doing what agriculture should be doing. Therefore, this is where we found we had a gap as a ministry, as a technical department on nutrition sensitive agriculture. And therefore, that's where the genesis of this training package. In 2019, we were given a mandate to do 100% food and nutrition security in the country. The part on food security was very clear, but the part on nutrition, we didn't know what to do as a ministry. So when we went to the Ministry of Health counterparts, and we asked them, can we join you to do the nutrition? They asked us, you have a whole pillar on food and nutrition security, and you are coming to the Ministry of Health, and we have a universal health pillar. Go back to your ministry and do what you have to do. So this is where the genesis came in. We went back to our capacity building. Thank you, FAO. You came to our aid. We came to you, we wrote a concept and asked, can you come and capacity build us on how to do nutrition work in agriculture? We do not know. So this one is what elicited interest from stakeholders and increased the demand for technical package. So as a government, we requested FAO to support in development of the reference manual, the one we are very, very happy and very proud of this today. And in so the journey started from 2019. 2020 to 2022, the training package was developed through multi-partner collaboration. We had the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development. We had the Ministry of Health. We had the Food and Agriculture Organization. We had partners from the Nutrition Leakage Working Group. There are many partners. And then the Kenya Nutrition and Dietitians, this institute was part of it. It was well represented. So I would wish to invite Eileen from FAO to take us the next part on what did we get from this package. Welcome, Eileen.
Thank you, Jane, for that good introduction. And I must say, Jane has been one of our key champions when it comes to matters nutrition in agriculture. She will always call us and tell us and challenge us. Yes, we keep saying there are capacity gaps. How are we helping being the authority in that area? And that is how we have ended up here. She made a request, she came back to us. We have consulted not just internally in Kenya, we've also consulted our regional office in Addis Ababa, our office in Africa, and our global office in Rome to come up with this resource. So this resource is heavily borrowed from FAO resources, but then we realize these resources are actually available online. But how are they contextualized to Kenyan needs? Sometimes we find they are too broad to guide, the whole world. but how do we contextualize it to meet the needs of the nation? So this is the process that we followed to develop the manual. First of all, I'll just introduce to you what the nutrition sensitive agriculture and food system training package contains. It has a technical manual that contains the technical content with 9 detailed modules on the topics that we felt are very relevant to transform agri-food systems in our nation to deliver on healthy diets. And beyond just providing the technical content, we went a step ahead to consult partners, because we do appreciate there's a lot going on. It's only that it's not consolidated into one pool. So we went under the Food and Nutrition Linkages Technical Working Group, which has been explained very well by Jane, and we requested for case studies that have a good geographical representation from every corner of Kenya, relevant to the 9 modules. So we were able to collect 28 case studies of projects implemented in Kenya by the government and NGOs. We have CBOs, as long as it's relevant to that particular topic. And then we realized, yes, we have a technical guide on what this constitutes, or what nutrition sensitive agriculture and food system constitutes. But the person who is going to, facilitate that particular training, which usually takes a minimum of 1 week, they will need to be guided how to go about it. So we developed a facilitator guide alongside it that guides the person on how to train, not just how to train, but how to engage participants to understand. Because you realize nutrition sensitive agriculture is very practical. So we really need for them to engage the people to get to understand better. So we have the facilitator guide. And then on top of that, we realized, when Jane was introducing, she mentioned that in 2019, we had a capacity building workshop that brought together key Ministry of Agriculture program leads to train them on the nutrition sensitive agriculture. And after that training in 2019, it elicited a lot of interest. And what people did, the experts, the directors in agriculture, we have the technical staff in agriculture, they took those PowerPoints and they'll take them to the field, to train people. But you see now they don't have a detailed reference document. And we are not even sure whether they'll add additional content that may not necessarily be in line with what is recommended. But since we appreciate the effort, that's why we felt it's good to standardize the whole thing, including the PowerPoints. So the package also includes some standardized PowerPoint presentations for every module. So what is the aim of the package? The purpose of the package is to equip not only technical staff, but also policy makers, program planners in different sectors. You will notice it's very much biased towards agriculture and food systems, but you'll find a mention of even private sector. There's a lot. When you get a chance to read, you'll see. To equip them with knowledge and skills on how to formulate and successfully implement nutrition sensitive agriculture and food systems investment. We say investment because it extends beyond the program. We also have policies, strategies that are being developed. We have like Turkana County that is developing the county agri-nutrition implementation strategy, strengthening their capacity to formulate and successfully implement. Because sometimes you'll find we have a very beautifully designed nutrition sensitive agriculture program, but implementation, there's a gap. So that manual goes a step ahead to tell you how do you go about implementing, not just putting it in a document and getting the resources. So we followed a very detailed process. You will notice this particular exercise started in 2020. What happened in 2020? COVID-19. So we had a lot of challenges in terms of meeting physically. And it is through those challenges that we actually learned you don't even actually have to meet to deliver. You can talk to each other and actually deliver a good output. So the development process was a mix of virtual interaction, online interaction plus physical. So we started with developing a draft technical manual and facilitator guide that borrowed heavily from FAO content. You see, it's draft. And also integrating, like talking to the members of the Food and Nutrition Linkages Working Group to share case studies. We received so many, I think around 40. But we spoke to we had to take it through a technical review process to see which one is relevant and which one is not. Not to mean they are not relevant for other activities, but moving forward, we still, given that nutrition sensitive agriculture and food system has really been embraced in the country, we have capacity, we have potential to even use those case studies in future that were not accepted. But we have a total of 28 case studies from partners. First, we started internally as FAO to just gather all those resources in close collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture and Ministry of Health. And then after that, we now subjected it to the online technical review, because this was at the time of COVID-19, where we consulted with partners. And after consulting with them, telling them, this is what we are thinking, this is the draft, they told us there's a lot missing. They gave us a lot of inputs, and we had to start again and really incorporate these inputs. You know, that consultation that really helps you to contextualize the whole thing. So after the technical review, we incorporated the inputs. And based on the inputs that were given, including one of the requests was for us to develop standardized PowerPoint presentation. We went ahead to work again with the team to develop draft PowerPoint presentations. I keep referring to draft because there's always that smaller technical review team, but you need to subject it to the bigger team that tells you whether this is adequate or not. So we developed the draft PowerPoint presentations, and based on those draft PowerPoint presentations, we presented them again to the technical review team. And we were able to organize a pre-testing exercise, bringing together, you know, to try that particular manual on ground to see whether actually people understand. So we organized a pre-testing workshop that brought together 3 counties, I think Turkana, Wajir, and Marsabit. And that particular pre-testing exercise was funded by World Food Programme. So this is very multi-sectoral, multi-partner collaborated. We had WFP coming on board, and you can see there are many other partners coming up there at step 1. And then when we pre-tested, we were able to review the feedback and also to see how the training went. And based on the pre-testing results, we incorporated the inputs to the training package. In fact, those 3 counties, we did not consider them fully trained because you see they were just a pre-test. So again, we repeated them when we finalized the training manual. So then after we did all that, we did the final technical review workshop, which now at that point, that is when we got to bring on board the Kenya Nutritionists and Dietitians Institutes. Of course, they knew the process is ongoing. We brought them on board, and they gave us some guidance. From KNDI, we had the representation of Madam Emily, who can maybe stand up. Yeah, so she was the one who was really representing KNDI in the whole process. They gave feedback, we incorporated again, presented it again to the Food and Nutrition Linkages Technical Working Group, and the package was ready for validation. And notice when I'm saying all this, it's over so many months. So by now we are like halfway, we finished like a whole year. We did the validation. The validation exercise is the one, that really knocks you down and tells you, go back from square one, you know? And actually that is when, and we really appreciate those inputs. We called stakeholders, not just from the Food and Nutrition Linkages Technical Working Group. We called many other stakeholders from other technical working groups. We had representation of the counties, and they helped us in, just giving feedback on the package. And I remember after the validation process, it took us another 2 months to incorporate those inputs because they were quite thorough. So I want to appreciate everyone who participated in the validation process. And Dr. Nguka, I don't know if I should proceed. Okay. Okay.
Good afternoon again. Yes, but appears we welcome you officially. We are sorry that you didn't get in time because of the rounds, but you are here now. We just want to say, feel at home. Professor Nguka will do the official introduction at the time for your speech, but I want to brief you that we are both live online and physical. And Online, we invited about all the 6,000 professionals plus approximately 10, but 6,000 normally are complying. Then we have also training institutions from all the universities training in nutrition and dietetics. We also have tertiary colleges. Then we have invited the CNCs from all counties. We also invited, through the Council of Governors, the CECs. The CEC for Machakos, and that is both agriculture and health. They are supposed to come physically, so we are expecting them. We have gone far. Maybe I would just want to make one statement from my speech, which was the initial one. You will get to go through it online. But we lose, and you're aware, 374 billion Kenyan shillings in malnutrition as a country. And so we are coming up with another new strategy for nutrition sensitive agriculture strengthening. And we are doing this both in agriculture and just for your counterpart, PS Buru, we are doing a strategic plan for public health, which is ongoing in Mombasa, and regulations. And we have put that. I just came from there, and I can assure you nutrition sensitive agriculture is part of that public health strategic plan. So we want to welcome you again and feel at home. This is your home. You can see we are next to Kenchik, and also around you have seen vegetables, very healthy vegetables, because the giant is within the vegetable farms and can give them correct way of growing in the value chain. Thank you very much. Feel welcome, Professor.
Thank you very much, PS, and also the chief guest of today. I would like also to let you know that we have the chair, Kenya Nutritionists and Dietitians Institute. She's online. And for that matter, since the PS is around, allow me to just again invite the chair to also welcome you. Is in order for purposes of protocol, just to make sure that the chair also get in touch with you. So Chair, Dr. Evelyn Rikacha. Dr. Evelyn is also a senior lecturer in Pwani University and the head of department for nutritional sciences or nutrition department in Pwani University, but is officially the chair for this regulatory board. Daktari? Technical team is Dr.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. The PS is in the house.
Thank you. I want to take this opportunity to welcome the PS to Kenya Nutritionists and Dietitian Institute. This is where the nutritionists are housed, and you are most welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Daktari. Dr. K had mentioned some few highlights, and one of the key highlights that also came is that we have a technical working group that is linking all the partners together, which has also brought the health sector. Our only worry is that is KNDI represented in that technical working group? That is what we were looking at. And of course, the driver for nutrition in the country, we know the politics that is played here. But then when the professionals are brought into it, it brings a lot of sense. So maybe going forward, in as much as we have the Ministry of Health, KNDI can come as an individual to also drive the agenda in that technical working group. Otherwise, I think I know the PS is going to have his place to be able to talk, and we are going to invite you officially. Let me just consult with the CEO. Okay. So we are going to allow FAO, Irene, to be able to complete your presentation, and then we get to invite.
Thank you very much, Bwana PS, for gracing the occasion. I was taking the nation through the process that was followed to develop the package. And before I came in, Madam Jane Wambugu had given us a policy landscape for nutrition under the Ministry of Agriculture and had helped us understand exactly what is this nutrition sensitive agriculture you're talking about. She briefed us about the 3 key pathways for nutrition improvement through agriculture. She took us through the agriculture production pathway and how by improving agriculture production at household level, you'll improve consumption if well integrated with nutrition education, ultimately influence child nutrition outcomes and maternal nutrition outcomes. She also took us through the agriculture income pathways and how it has potential to improve access to non-food expenditure that will influence health and nutrition outcomes, such as health-seeking behaviors and seeking education, which is well integrated with nutrition, for example, the CBC curriculum, which has a very strong nutrition and health component, and also took us through, again, the agriculture income pathway and its impact to contribute to improved household food expenditure on nutritious foods, if well integrated with nutrition education and social behavior change communication, and also sensitized us on the women empowerment pathway, where she really insisted on the need to be sensitive around impact of agriculture on women labor and women time, because if agriculture is affecting women in terms of labor, the amount of workload that they apply in agriculture and time, then this will definitely affect care practices and feeding practices for children and they themselves, which again leads to malnutrition. So she took us through a very good comprehensive presentation. And for me, I had started with the development process that was involved from 2022 to 2020, from 2020 to 2022 to come up with a package where we had first developing the draft technical and facilitation manuals, borrowed heavily from FAO content, and then contextualizing it using case studies of projects implemented in Kenya, borrowed again from the food and nutrition linkages technical working group partners, which again is coordinated under your ministry. The online technical reviews, we were discussing how this is actually possible because this was implemented during COVID when people are not able to meet physically. So we also had to sort the approaches around online reviews. And then on top of that, we developed the draft PowerPoint presentations. We did pre-testing. Again, we don't want to present something to the nation that is actually not tried and tested. So we brought together 3 counties, did a pre-testing, incorporated results, did the final physical technical review, then presented it for validation. So I had moved up to that point. So after the validation, ladies and gentlemen, as I had mentioned earlier, we got a lot of inputs, challenges, and we accepted them. We incorporated them in consultation with partners. And then after that, we were ready to present it to an editor. You know, you can say a lot as a technical expert and not communicate because you're being too technical. You're using jargons, you know. You're talking to a fellow nutritionist instead of talking to people who are probably at policy level and want to understand with a better language. So we brought on board the editorial team. We brought on board designers to come up with this beautiful document. I think you can see those 2 dummy books. I am telling myself it's beautiful, and I want to believe you also think it's beautiful. Yeah. It's available in the Kilimo website. And you can see, it has the map of Kenya. It has the ugali that is very popular. It has the fish, it has the vegetables, and you have the facilitator guide again that is representing a healthy family. So after the design work, we noticed that technically we had started involving KNDI. So they had an understanding of what is going into the document. But then again, we had to present the document to them for accreditation. And I won't mention so much about the accreditation because they'll be coming back to us to tell us what that involved. And they were we got very good feedback. And the package was actually accredited, and they will tell us what that means. Then from there, After accreditation by KNDI, we had now the finalization and publication. Finalization actually involved endorsements by the various sectors. We have endorsement by 4 PSs. We had PS crops, we had PS livestock, we have endorsement by PS public health, and we had endorsement by Blue Economy. Thank you very much. Yes. And then after that, we had then KNDI, of course, putting a stamp and saying this is something that can actually be taken nationally to impact on nutrition sensitive agriculture and food systems. After that finalization, we started the publication process. Like I said, the project, the document is already under the Kilimo website, and right now it's undergoing the process of being added into the FAO website. For us, FAO, we don't take up documents that are not actually owned, but this country has really owned, and right now it's going through to be incorporated into the FAO website. And we had the national launch, which was done during the 4th National Nutrition Symposium. And this one is even a greater opportunity where we get to reach so many other professionals out there around the area of nutrition. So we really want to thank KNDI for this opportunity. After that, I wanted to take you through this package that we are talking about. What does it constitute? I told you it had I mentioned that it had a technical manual and it has a facilitator guide. So this technical manual, which are these modules in this package, it has, we had mentioned with Jane, the pathways, we have mentioned just the basics around, some of them are actually here. Module 1 is on introduction to nutrition sensitive agriculture and food systems, programming for people to best understand what is this we are talking about. Module 2 is on food and nutrition situation in Kenya. We are lucky that we have been able to launch this document just when the KDHS results have come out. So it's actually a very updated document, and many other reviews that we've done and incorporated into the food and nutrition situation in Kenya analysis. And then we have the policy landscape and governance, which somehow Jane has touched on. And then module 4 is on agriculture to nutrition pathways. We quickly mentioned them with Jane, but when you go to the document, you'll be able to understand better what is this we are talking about. It tells you exactly the food price pathway. If you do not understand it well, what does that mean? And then module 5 on selected nutrition sensitive agriculture and food systems interventions. And we call them selected because you realize there are so many. And actually moving forward, this doesn't mean this is the final. If you feel we need to keep updating it, you're welcome. Make your suggestions. We are here to provide the technical capacity and to walk the journey with you. Module 6 is on interventions options for selected agriculture subsectors. You notice the first one is just selected intervention, but this one now, the next one is on specific subsectors, because you realize people do embrace that addressing malnutrition is a multi-sectoral role. But sometimes they ask themselves, so Mimi, as a livestock expert, what is my role? So we have narrowed it out to tell them, this is your role, this is ABCD, this is what you can consider. These are the key recommendations that will make your work nutrition sensitive. Module 7 is on food and nutrition advocacy, budgeting, and resource mobilization. You notice we may talk a lot. We may talk a lot about nutrition sensitive agriculture and food systems, but if we do not have resources allocated to it, then how are we going to achieve our goal? I think Dr. Okeo mentioned very well about inadequate resource allocation for implementation of nutrition programs when it comes to any, say, it could be health, could be agriculture. We really need to prioritize resource allocation for nutrition sensitive agriculture. And how do we achieve this? Through advocacy, participating in budgeting processes. And that is what module 7 tells you about or guides you about. Module 8 is on tracking progress and measuring outcomes. Yes, you have done everything, but you didn't measure. You didn't track to see how the program was implemented. You're not able to track the implementation of strategies that are developed in the country. Then if you're not able to track and measure and report on the results, then it ends up being zero work. So all these modules we are talking about, we need to track progress in order to measure the outcomes. And these outcomes are also evidence to inform future resource allocation. Module 9 is on actions to strengthen nutrition sensitive agriculture and food system programming in Kenya. That is like a summary of all the other modules. Yes, we have said a lot. I had sort of preempt this particular slide, But yeah, the document was very well received. We had a lot of good leadership from the various principal secretaries. So we had, it was endorsed by the PS State Department of Crop Development under the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock and Agriculture and Livestock Development. Also endorsed by the PS State Department of Livestock Development. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for your team. And then we had the Principal Secretary, State Department of Blue Economy and Fisheries. We had Public Health and Professional Standards under the Ministry of Health. And we had the CEO for Kenya Nutritionists and Dieticians Institute. And finally, by the FAO representative in Kenya. So we have mentioned a lot about case studies. This is where the case studies were coming. I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone who played a role in this. Those were the partners. And I don't know whether it will be heard on YouTube, but I will request that we clap for them. Asante sana. You see your logo there. It's very much appreciated and it's going to inform future programming. If you would like to access the package, it's under the Kilimo website. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Irene. I think that was a very wonderful presentation. And we have a very short time with my classmate. He's reminding me that Irene is my classmate. Very true. She is my classmate. So, Bwana PS, as a chief guest, we want to thank you for having come here. Now, this component is a hallmark of training. KNDI, as you could be aware, is a regulator. On the profession of nutrition and dietitians. And therefore, we interact with all players, also bring them together the way you have brought them together in the technical working group. And today, other than this presentation, we are providing another platform to be able to enhance training using this kind of curriculum beyond just the undergraduate and the in-school training, but we are also pushing it to research level. And therefore, KNDI will also sign an MOU with the African Nutritional Research Consortium today to be able to do that. I know we don't have time, so it was just a brief. Let me call upon FAO country. Let me just read it properly. FAO Agri-Food Systems and Transformation Healthy Diets. Assistant FAO Programs, Mr. Hamisi Williams. To be able to take the shortest time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And I think, thank you again for missing my right point and getting it the next time is fine. But I think maybe I will start by saying that let us all recognize the PS for three things. Let's recognize the PS for the fact that he found time to drive all the way to Mlolongo and be with us at this place. This place is unique and very amazing, PS. And I would ask that we give you just one clap. It's a show of resilience in the way you do the work. I think that's also because my second point why I want to really thank the PS. I was whispering to him that this sector will soon remain for the two of us. Because this week alone, we've met several times doing the work in the agriculture sector. And being that we're still doing it today, Friday at noon, and we are still not tired, I think this is a great honor that you're giving to this team. But overall, also just PS for the vision that you have for the sector. And I think I thought I needed to appreciate that. The second point is I want to recognize KNDI Yeah, thank you for, first of all, having a very nutritious kind of building. And this is walking the talk, you know. I saw it when I was coming, and next to you, you saw those things. It's kales, it's mboga, and I think, are those yours, or those are for your neighbors, for the community? All right, so you are in the right community to discuss matters nutrition, and I think we also want to allow that. And then I want to just recognize some people here. That is Jane from the Ministry State Department of Crops. Jane really has been with this. You know, one time in my other life, I was in the Ministry of Agriculture. And Jane used to talk a lot of this nutrition, and I wouldn't know what is this that Jane is talking about. So, but I supported her a little then. And then now in my current life, I want to also recognize one Irene, your classmate. Yeah, she's really been the one who has made me appreciate these things. And the latest that she's just done is, you know, when we talked about agri-food systems, she walked in and decided to insert something there. What if we said nutrition sensitive agri-food systems? How will it sound like? That's Irene's work. So now we added that in FAO, and we talk nutrition sensitive. I got a few remarks, colleagues, to make before I invite the PS, who is the chief guest and will be making some remarks. I want to start by saying that somebody called me Brown, who is in the area of nutrition, quoted that the first wealth is health. And then another person said that man is what he eats. And then another one said something, the most interesting part of it, that life is a tragedy of nutrition. And then somebody else said that tell me what you eat and I will tell you what you are. The last one, I will finish my remarks with it because it's a bit scary and I want to finish when I'm always scared so that I keep on reminding myself that matters nutrition are important. Otherwise, for this afternoon, we are here for the nutrition training package and nutrition sensitive agriculture and food systems programs. We want to launch that package. And I wanted to say that I think we had done some launch, if I remember, but we needed to now be a little proud of what we launched before. Why? Is because it went through another process that gave it a cup, which cup now makes it more recognizable, which cup now also binds us to follow it, which cup now again gives it the voice, and if you like, the teeth to bite. That is to be accredited, and that's what that means. So the ladies and gentlemen at KNDI have done a very wonderful job, PS, because in most cases, we do a number of these documents, strategies, policy documents, and everything else, but if we do not actualize them by way of giving them teeth, then they remain in the shelves. But today we have been told that this document is accredited. The other thing I like about today, or the accreditation itself, is that it now brings the documents that Irene was telling us are beautiful documents to the level that they are recognized beyond our boundaries, because they have been accredited, so they no longer just remain thoughts that are put on paper, but they be things that can be referenced by us and by people across the globe, because they have gone through accreditation. That's why today is important to me. And so when we put these documents out there, then we are calling upon Kenyans and beyond to be able to reference these documents, to use these documents. And we are telling them that something is here available for you. As FAO, we have been working a lot with the government. And what have we been doing in the area of nutrition? Because this is one area that really had not gained traction for quite a long time. People talk about food security, and the matters nutrition was really not one of the concerns for so long. So what we've been trying to do is to work on building the institutional capacities, the institutional framework that you require for agri-food systems transformation. That is something that has healthy diets laced into it. And that is something that you need, so that whenever we do agriculture, whenever we talk of agri-food systems, we add Irene's word, nutrition sensitive into it. So we approach production in a manner that the products that come out of the production are those that are also taking care of matters nutrition. And that is care of matters of our health and matters of our diet. And that is what we become. And that's why I'm relating with the first 4 quotes that I gave you, because we are what we eat. Our first wealth is the health. And so diet is important because that is what is going to lead us there. I wanted also to share with you, therefore, that when we have the strategy here that we are launching today, it gives us, it works like an entry point to those of us who are in the production. It's an entry point. And what is, when something is an entry point, what is it? It opens the gate, or it is the gate itself. It is the one that is going to give us the platform where now we can proudly and confidently start talking matters nutrition when we do production. And we can tell people that you don't need to go far. The tenets of doing that are just here with us. And if you want to refer, we got an accredited document for you to refer. Bringing it closer, in the UN family, the entire 2022, we had the conversation which we were calling the food systems conversation. Kenya was one of the robust nations that led in the dialogues in the 2022. And actually, we did a total of about 75 of those dialogues coming from the region, getting up to the national level. That was a real bottom-up approach. And with that level, the dialogues culminated into the summit in New York. And there we got to what we were calling the action tracks. But as Kenya, we still, I think, even did better because we are one of the few countries that came up with the pathways from the dialogue. 4 pathways that Kenya has defined. One of them talks about digitalization. There's a pathway on youth, gender. But I am glad that of the 4, healthy diets found itself there. And that is one of the pathways that came in. And I think that you should allow the UN family for have led that particular conversation. We are really proud of it. You know, and in that, we came up, and as FAO, we've been consolidating in terms of our strategies. Like in the one of the strategies we have, 2022, 2029, sorry, 2031, we are talking of the FAO framework. And in there, we are looking at building the agri-food systems that are efficient, inclusive, resilient, and sustainable agri-food systems. To do what? To eventually lead to what we call the 4 betters, which is the better production, better nutrition, better environment, and eventually better life. We do that under the what we call the LNOB lens, which is the leave no one behind lens. So what does this mean, therefore, is that the issue of nutrition, if you look, that is our second beta. That is our second pillar. It is really already inculcated even in our documents of operation and documents of delivery, which are the projects and the programs that we deliver. So there, it tells you how important and how engraved the matters nutrition and healthy diets are for us in FAO. As I come towards the end, I want to just remind you of what I was listening to Jane when he was presenting there, that if we put the lens in agri-food system actions to leverage on their full potential so that we realize adequate, safe, and nutritious food, we need the following four. One, diversified production. That is the only way we will get diversified diets. So that is a must for us. Secondly, we need to go through the One Health approach. And the PS knows that this is also something that FAO is leading globally, so that we also address matters of diseases that are also hindering us from achieving our potential in terms of the healthy diets and nutrition. And then again, we have to look into the incomes that come from agriculture itself. And that's where the difference is. I had Jen trying to explain that. We no longer want to look at the incomes that will come from transport sector. No. In the agriculture sector, we have the potential to generate the income. And so let's generate those incomes. And when we do, what do we do with that income? We will have the ability to diversify on what we eat, on what we put on the table. And that is the only way, including the farmer at home, will have the meaning and know the meaning and appreciate the meaning of diversifying on its production, doing better production, and having more money in their pocket, because they will be able to be proud and say, I can now go and buy something else and get a better diet. And finally, what we really are talking about and promoting now is Mr. Climate Smart Agriculture. And this is critical. If you have been in this country for a few years, the last few have been the worst that we talk about in the last 40 years. You have seen drought at unprecedented levels. The PS will tell you he's lost, and I'm saying he's lost because all livestock in Kenya belongs to him. He's lost about 2.6 million herds. And that is not just a story, that is the reality. And that is not something good to talk about. What do we need to do then? We need to adopt those practices that will be able to help our people to survive the vagaries of climate change, adopt, and be able to also mitigate. And if we do that, we'll be able to safeguard the livelihoods of our people, and they will still be able to have incomes, and they will be able to have what we call diversified diets. For FAO, therefore, with all those things we've said, may I just commit that we still want to be in this space. We will be in this space. We have to be in this space. That's a commitment that I'm giving you. Can I also commit to KNDI that you people came from Ngong Road, I'm told, to hide here and talk about matters in nutrition where people don't see you. But now that we've been brought up to this place with the PS, let me confirm to you, Bonasio, we now know where you are. And I want to commit that we want to keep knocking here. Not to disturb you, but we want to call you to come out there so that we work together. Anything else that is still remaining, the gaps that are still remaining, let's tie them. Let's make sure that they are the ones that define our work and our principles and our future engagements on matters nutrition. That I want to commit. And finally, I want to end by the quote I reserved. Somebody said that let food be your medicine so that in future medicine doesn't become your food. And I think with this and the accreditation and this conversation and the way we are sensitizing everyone, let us start eating healthy so that we don't eat medicine in future. With those remarks, can I now invite the one and the only PS to come and give his remarks. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you so much, Hamisi Williams. I know we've been partnering together in many areas. And I want to assure you that the partnership will continue. We still have a lot of work to do, looking at the areas that you're supposed to cover. In fact,
I think it is the first time we are now handling issues on nutrition. I will keep on talking about food and nutrition. That's an area that you have not really gone too deep because you've been talking about food. What kind of food are we producing? So me and you, we still have a lot of work to do. I also want to thank other development partners who have supported us in this program, and specifically also the CEO of KNDI, whom I met for the first time when you were discussing about this framework that we were launching at Safari Park, and he promised that he's going to invite me. I didn't know where he was, where he's best, but I agreed. So definitely I had the duty to come here. Even if you are hidden wherever you are, I'll definitely have come. And I'm told that also on their way, the CECs from the counties that had been invited, because they play a critical role, the government agencies that are here, and the nutrition and dietetics professionals, I'm told there are 6,000 following us in this event specifically. I want to greet you and say thank you for following this. Other regulatory bodies that support the sector, and our training institutions that you have talked about that also do the capacity building and training on this specific area. Invited guests, distinguished participants, allow me to say good afternoon. It is indeed a great pleasure for me to be with you this afternoon, to witness again the relaunch of the national training package on national training package on nutrition, sensitive agriculture and food systems. I was informed that indeed we did the launch at the site event, but this one is specific in the sense that we are now reaching out to the entire technical teams that play a role in this area, and we want to sensitize them on this particular document that we developed together with our development partners, and now we want to make it for official use, and I think that has been adopted, and I'm very happy. Thank you, team, for working so hard on that area. I just mentioned that I was present at the Safari Park Hotel together with the team from FAO and other development partners when this special side event of the national, during the national, fourth National Nutrition Symposium on eradicating malnutrition in all its forms, stepping up the political, the multi-sector and interdisciplinary actions towards nutrition resilience. You can see how we broaden it. We do not just leave it to the professionals. I think the team worked very hard and realized that we need all the sector. We need everybody to come in this space. Our politicians, for example, the political class, who most of us and most of the masses listen to, we want to bring them also on board to talk about issues of nutrition, so that when they are leading, they know who are these people they are leading. And Miss has just given us the quotations here. And if they're able to live by those quotations, and then they will be leading a healthy nation. So ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, those who have participated in this, I take cognizance of the fact that the malnutrition bears a multi-sectoral approach. If you are to eradicate it, no single professional, for example, that can claim to eradicate malnutrition can say, I'm a nutritionist, but you need everybody. And I'm very happy that my team from the Ministry of Agriculture have decided to take a different approach on this issue. That means as we engage our production, we need then to be more sensitive about the nutritional value. Get it right, nutritional value of that product that you're producing. Because if you don't handle it well, for example, then it loses that nutritional value. If you don't manage it well, post-harvest, then again it loses that nutritional value. So it is important that as we engage in production from day one, we need to look at how are then we going to keep this to have the nutritional value that is being produced for. So as mentioned, the agriculture sector and food systems influences people's dietary patterns and have an impact on nutritional outcome, and are a critical component of the Kenya's budget. So that means as we're budgeting as well, we must make sure that we look at the nutritional aspect of it in terms of the nutritional security that we've been talking about. So sustainable agriculture and food systems have a key role in improving food security and nutrition while promoting food safety and healthy diets. Somebody said, food is not food when it's not safe. You can produce food, but as long as it's not safe, I don't think it will be food. Nobody will consume that food. So the Kenya government is committed to transforming agri-food systems and is ready to deliver on healthy diets as an vision in various documents for scaling up nutrition in the agriculture sector and food systems as a sustainable measure for alleviating food and nutrition security. So ladies and gentlemen, as we launch this training package, let us remember the 4.3 million Kenyans who are in need of humanitarian assistance and the 942,000 malnourished children aged between 6 to 59 months. And in addition, the 134,000 pregnant and lactating women who are in need of treatment. Our constitution enshrines that food and nutrition security is a basic human right, and no one should go to bed without food. This calls for commitment to all of us in ensuring that Kenya or Kenyans throughout their life cycle enjoy at all the times safe food in sufficient quantities and quality that satisfies their nutritional needs for optimal health. As you are aware, over the last 4 years, the country has experienced a recurrent drought, just like other countries in the Horn of Africa, where millions have faced acute food insecurity and malnutrition. The 2022 drought is a record, as mentioned by my colleague, Hamisi, that it was the worst drought in the last 40 years. And as mentioned earlier, these statistics, we indeed lost approximately 2.6 million livestock. And it was one of the seasons where we had the lowest maize productions at 34.4 million bags compared to our annual demand of 52 million bags, both for human consumption and livestock. Now those are the statistics in terms of the losses. If you quantify that, it's so much. For me, the livestock sector, I think it's approximated to be about $1.8 million, which then affects the income of our people, and you know what it does at the end of it. So in order to meet the maize shortage, the country relies on imports by private sector and relief agencies. It is important to note that the country has been unable to meet a nutritional maize requirement due to increasing human population and reducing agricultural land and productivity. Thus, the total imports of maize in the year 2022 increased to 9.9 million bags compared to 4.1 million bags imported in the year 2021. So as we look at these challenges that we are now facing, one, it's obvious, and we all know, that we are in the era of climate change. And we must discuss issues of climate change and how then do we handle our production systems. We are also in the era of low use of farm inputs due to high costs. We are also in the era of declining soil productivity or soil fertility, which I think we also need to move to that area. How do we address this issue of soil fertility? It's about the nutrients. Human beings require nutrients. Our soil requires the right nutrients to produce the right kind of food that we need. So we need to address this as well. We're also having challenges in the side of pests and diseases that are increasing We have different pests that are now we are facing. For example, we had the fall armyworm. As we are trying to grapple with the fall armyworm, then we had what's called the African fall armyworm. So you can see that this pests are manifesting themselves in different. Tomorrow, I don't know which I'll call it what, because there'll be another new one that is maybe resistant to the products that we have developed to fight it. We also have challenges in the market side, in the sense that we have the market infrastructure. As we produce, we must ensure that we produce for the market. But the challenges are that, do we have enough infrastructure to be able to make our food safe? For example, and if you look at it in terms of logistics, the cold chain facilities in our country is not adequate or sufficient to address that. So we need investment in that area so that we are able to ensure that whatever is produced is utilized well. Now, one of the most difficult things, and we've been saying this in forums, and we have experienced it when we go to the field, is that we have a big challenge. The challenge is we don't have the youth coming to take up that the space of agriculture. Our farmer is an aging farmer in agriculture. The average age of our farmer is about 59. I can see in terms of productivity, what's the productivity of that farmer? He's not able to move to the market to go and sell the produce and come back and continue with their farming activities. So we need to attract the youth into this space so that they're able to support in production. Then another challenge that we are facing, and I hope if the CECs are here, is the challenge of extension services. The counties now are performing their functions, which are devolved functions, specifically in agriculture, and therefore they need to support the farmers by employing extension experts to be able to support the farmers with the new technology, new skills, new innovations in the agriculture sector. So some of these are the challenges that we are facing, and I want to say that as a government, we are undertaking some of the initiatives to address and mitigate issues of food insecurity arising from these challenges that we are facing. And this includes fertilizer subsidy to cushion farmers against high costs of fertilizer. Also, wherever we have shortage of maize in the country, we do grants, what's called waiver on importations of food and animal feeds, so that it can subsidize and support the farmers and support the consumers as well in terms of reduction of the cost. We're also ensuring that in the climate change space, we do provide what's called the insurance programs to mitigate against climate change and to ensure that the farmers' investments in terms of agriculture are secure in case of climate change, in case of drought, in case of floods. All this is now being supported by the insurance programs. Further, we are also using what's called the climate smart technologies and innovations. We've embraced the climate smart agriculture to ensure that we do produce during these very difficult times where we have climate change. And we're also collaborating with other sectors. For example, as mentioned, health, social protection, education, and others, and other partners to address the issues of nutrition and make sure that we have what's called multi-sectoral approach. We must produce for a targeted community. If we are to look at this area, what are the challenges? If it's, for example, calling them, if we need area which requires drought area, for example, ASAL counties, for example, what we need to do in those ASAL counties, we know their livelihood is livestock. So we target more interventions in the livestock sector. If the high rainfall areas, we make sure that we target more interventions related to with the food production, making sure that whenever they are producing food, we secure them. We must tell them, take your insurance cover. And we have also gone even further to support the livestock sector and make sure that we develop a livestock insurance component, something that we were not used to. We used to talk about insurance in case there's a disease that will kill the animal. But you're saying we need now to be more innovative and develop an insurance package or a product that looks at the change in climate. If there is drought, then the pastoralist is paid to purchase animal feed to be able to sustain the animal for a period of time that they're facing the challenge. So I just want to mention, ladies and gentlemen, then the other one, of course, we are promoting youth in agriculture through the Enable Youth program. We are supporting the youth, giving them credit facilities and incubating them so that they're able to invest in agriculture and attract them to go into agriculture. I just mentioned some of the programs then that we as a government are undertaking. Number one is we have what's called the crop and livestock insurance programs. This is being done. We have what's called the National Value Chain Support Program, the Small Scale Irrigation and Value Addition Program. We have the Kenya Cereals Enhancement Program. We have the Kenya Climate Smart Support Program. We have Towards Ending Drought Emergencies Program, the Livestock Commercialization Program, Livestock Value Chain Support Program, the Livestock Insurance, that's a product called De-risking, Inclusion, and Value Enhancement for the pastoral economies. So we have a specific interventions and programs that looks at each of our segments and each of our regions, depending on the challenges they are facing. So ladies and gentlemen, finally, let me just say that I want to take this opportunity again to thank you, the participants, and also to thank our development partners who have stood by us. And indeed, as per your colleague, you are the part of the United Nations team. And therefore, we being member states, we do feel that FAO, you're playing a critical role in supporting the member states. Dr. Amisi, I want really to thank you, and I want to tell you that don't get tired. The country still needs you. We have to walk this journey together as the development partners. So I think FAO has gone deep into this, and they have told us that, and they have supported us in developing this training manual. And you've just said that it's not going to end here in Kenya. You are now going beyond the borders. And I also want to thank my colleagues, the principal secretaries, who looked at this document and found it fit that it therefore needs accreditation, it needs the endorsement at the high level, at the policy level, which then makes this document to be accepted nationally and also to be adopted globally. So, ladies and gentlemen, specifically again, KNDI, I know you have taken the time to prepare for this. And actually, this is your product. I think it was specifically designed and produced for your use. Because as you develop your career, your curriculum, you need to look at what are we doing in the agriculture sector, for example. So it starts from you, because you've got to address the issue of challenges of nutrition. Then you have to tell them, how and then do you produce? We want you to speak about nutrition and the diet, and just tell them how to produce if you are to have this product. So it has to go beyond your professional calling. You have to step further and say, know how to produce it. So we are looking at you, and as an institution that regulates over 10,000 professionals, if all of them join hands, I so believe this message of nutrition will go far in ensuring that our children, our lactating mothers, become safe, because without them, again, there will be no nation. There will be no nation. If you lose our children, then we are losing generations. Then we are losing our whole nation. So let's all play our role and ensure that this issue of nutrition is taken seriously. And I'm very happy that you will not just take it as a document. You have really entrenched it and made it part of the continuing professional development, the CPD package. So that if you have not done this, then you miss some points and you will not qualify to be called a professional nutrition and dietitian, which is a good thing for us. That means the regulations then will make sure that everybody comes on board. If you want to call yourself as a professional nutritional and dietitian, therefore you need to have understood this document. So for us as a ministry, we are very proud of you as a new partner that has come to partner with us to provide what's called the last mile connectivity Because that's what we are missing, the last mile connectivity. And now you've come in to provide that last mile connectivity. So with those few remarks, ladies and gentlemen, thank you and God bless you.
Thank you, Bwana PS. When I said I will invite you, I meant it. And I said that you must come. And at some point yesterday, Irene was losing faith and saying, I'm not sure whether the PS has confirmed. I'm not sure. I say your faith is 30%. The PS will be here and you are here. Thank you very much for coming. Bwana PS, when we did, in July, we had the conviviality symposium with the Italian embassy here. And one of the things we presented from KNDI was edible insects as alternative diets. And when I hear that the armyworms, the caterpillars are there in plenty, then I think of how do we then capture them as food. I think that's an area that we also need to look into. And when we hear that there's drought, and we hear that there's locust, and locust is a delicacy, and we're looking for drones, why can't we also look for nets for the harvest, the current harvest? I think that's an area we need to look into. So now we want to do the final thing because we know you have no time now. We want to do exactly what brought us here. And I want to recognize the presence of African Nutrition Consortium group, led by Professor Nguka here, who is also our chair of accreditation. And we have the team with us here. I think they have been listening and saying, climate is coming up. We are looking at avenues of new modern technology, and they're saying research pool is already here. And this is an area that we wanted them to listen to, hosted by Colombian Global Center in Westlands, and a team of researchers all the way from Colombian University, and all other universities, about over 13 universities, 18 universities indeed. We can team up together. So we are going into the launch of the document. And I just want to mention that our act is very clear on matters of accreditation, setting standards, and also setting standards for continuing professional development is a key mandate for the council. And also participating in matters of food and foods with the nutrition claim is also very critical. In such cases, we give a thumbs up for the nation of Kenya that the documents that have been developed are meeting the standards that will solve their problems. And for that reason, we'll not make it very, very comprehensive, but we would want to invite Professor Nguka, who is the chair of accreditation. When he's through, we'll also want to mention to you that we shall be signing the MOU with the ANSRC team so that we can both work in service and also back it up with research, which is going to be a global research and national research. So Professor Nguka, with your team, I think you lead us in the process, and the PS is here, and the FAO team, and our team here as council, and also all our members who are online. We want to get into the ceremony part for this document, which is currently now approved. And we want to welcome you to use for it. So Professor, you can come take us through.
Thank you very much, Bwana CS. Scientists are known to be very short, so we will take it to that point. Bwana PS, Principal Secretary. I hope it doesn't bring problem up there. Yeah, just a slip of the thank you very much. So we, Bwana PS, we are very grateful, and we are going to do what you're supposed to do. We have two components. I have my colleagues behind there from ANSRC. We have Dr. Ndirangu just behind you. Bonnie Dunbar is the Secretary General for the ANSRC. We have the CEO for ANSRC is Dr. Edwardina Ndine. And then it is hosted in Columbia Global Center that is led or directed by Dr. Ndirangu there. Yeah. So we have two components. One is to launch this very important national training package on nutrition sensitive agriculture and food systems. Then immediately after that, and this is the pedestal platform, bigger platform that we are going to issue this now out with the teeth. I think you talk about the teeth. It is serious. It's a serious teeth. It's a teeth that will drag people to court in case you don't. It's a very serious teeth. And we don't want to take people to court, but in KNDI, we enjoy court if it is necessary. If it is necessary, we'll drag you to court. And we drag everybody, including members of parliament when they don't do their own. So we are going to request my lady here to set up where the PS is going to, just come. I think now all the communication, including from FAO, I think this is where you now have to guide us. But we have the book here that is going to be launched. And the ANSRC and FAO team, please. Particularly, So for the FAO, we want Mr. Amisi Williams, Irene Kimani, Angeline Kimani, and Angela Theory. For the ministry, we have the PS himself, Jen Wambugu, and Masinjeri. Then we have KNDI. Dr. David Oke is here. Emily Wahome, Professor Gordon Nguka, Banis Kendi. Oh, there you are. From ANSRC team, the three. Please, Secretary, you come. Yeah. Baraka Some from the Minister of Agriculture. And Caroline Muteti. Baraka Some and Caroline Muteti from Minister of Agriculture. Yeah. Sorry. We go here. Yeah. Yeah.
Program to KNDI, who will then use it to continue capacity building their members, continue training on different sensitive factors and the ministry. We want to organize and appreciate the support KNDI is providing, which thank you and God bless you. These are documents that have received the endorsement from the Minister Secretaries of all the responsible state departments. Therefore, these are thank you very much. The next one, quickly. Then we listen. Then we excited.
there was this little survey that I took, and then improvements for persisting within your.
And we are lucky, Dr. Ndirangu, as the CEO, that Professor Nguka, who is also a member of the council, is the president also for this research. I'm sure you may not have been aware, but at the initial stages, we seconded him when we were still very far at Komodo, and it came to pass, he advised us that he's now the president, and we thought that we could do research. So this is going to be a cross-cutting research, which is on basic nutritional sciences, laboratory work. And this is going to also inform the country in a number of issues, including those in nutrition, agriculture, and even other sectors. So we just wanted the PS to witness that this process is also going on. And so, Bwana PS, we are going to sign this with Professor Nguka. Professor Nguka will sign on behalf of ANSRC. I will sign on behalf of KNDI. Now he no longer becomes the KNDI accreditation chair in this context. And so we will just do it in simple terms as a symbol. And we want as many as are happy for this to give us a thumbs up, including those online. And this will lead to production of PhD students, master students, and also research that is going to be a solution. For example, we were all just about to say that we are looking at the cotton value chain, and we want to see what can we do with the cotton seed, for example. So from production, we know income, and from the seed itself, we know oil, and we see nutrition coming in handy in cotton value chain, and animal feeds also. So this is an area that we can start early and do research. So thank you very much. It will just be sitting here and we demonstrate, then Professor Nguka and myself can now follow each other in the office and we finish the business there. Thank you very much. So is our witness. I'll give you the chance to talk on behalf of Thank you very much. Yes. Yes, this is a beautiful thing because you've seen the value movement from lower level curriculum to higher levels of being cutting edge resistance. Most of which have been done outside the classroom, so that we are able to high level research. We are able to conduct high-level research in country that is informed by the local evidences and not evidences from Europe and the Americas that is informing here. Even the FAO, I'm happy about FAO activities because they have talking about domestication of knowledge. And that is what this has brought to us. So hiking it to research level at master's and PhD is key. And therefore, that is why we have a team here, Dr. Edwardina Ndine, who was formerly actually in Nakosti and now is out. She's retired but not tired. She's doing a lot of research. We have Professor Bonnie Danba from the University of Nairobi. And then we have Dr. You can see it is women power. Those of you, you can imagine. We have Dr. Ndirangu, that is the director of Columbia Global Center, and also hosting the ANSRC. Now, these staff ladies are here to also witness the signing. I am the chair of the African Nutritional Research Consortium, elected 4 years ago. Now we are ending our first term to be able to begin the second term, if possible, if the consortium will agree. And I think this is one of the best outputs that we're going to have. And we are joyful because we are now going to jointly together with you and KNDI, going to seek for funds to train our people on cutting edge research together with FAO. Thank you very much. So we will just demonstrate. May I, if you don't, if you allow, I would like to just call Edwardina, because of women power, to say something and then welcome. Just a short one.
Thank you very much, Bwana PS. And acknowledge my friend Hamisi. It's been years with him. I've had 30 years in policy. So when I heard Jane talk about the pathways, I was very excited, particularly when you talk of income and you talk of gender. And when appears, when you mention the constraints, they are real. They are real, but we need research because most of those women in the rural are unreached. Their story is untold, it's undocumented. The constraints they face can only be dealt with by technical experts and specialists and a multi-sectoral approach. So I'm very excited. I'm part of this team. I also want to mention in another life, we are also pushing that women cooperatives be facilitated, established and be facilitated. And we are happy to say this is where we met with Hamisi at the Lake Region Economic Bloc County Governor Summit. So the story is long. We hope that those value chains can be addressed and women can make informed choices. They can have household income and community resilience can be ensured. So we are happy as ANSRC to be part of that story, and definitely we document the story and we'll make a difference. And we hope to work closely through your office. Thank you.
Buona PS, it's an honor to be in your presence and in the presence of everybody who is here today to witness this signing of this MOU. Thank you, KNDI, for your partnership in this process. We look forward to working with you to bring about higher levels of research and engagement in the not just in Kenya, because the 18 institutions that Professor Nguka is mentioning are not just from Kenya. They are from the East African community. So we'll be having a footprint that is broad. My name is Murugi Dirango. As was said, I'm the director of Columbia Global Center in Nairobi. We represent Columbia University in New York in the region. And let me on that part say that some people who are also have been with ANSRC for a long time and were part of the early days of ANSRC include Professor Richard Deckelbaum, who is at Columbia University, and Professor Deborah Wogomoth. They are also part of this network. Of course, they're in the US, so they would not be here, but they're online, I suspect. Yeah. And of course, Professor Ntambi, he's from Uganda originally, but in Wisconsin. We also have Professor Musia from the University of, is it Dar es Salaam? Yes, agriculture. So this is so Koine University in Tanzania. So this is a regional outfit, I must say. But, you know, what you said about, what you talked about today, about the different sectors working together, the idea of breaking silos is very critical because we've always worked in these vertical silos within our area. And it's interesting when Bwana Hamisi here, Dr. Hamisi, you mentioned that nutrition, you know, where is she? she was bringing the nutrition, you know, so you'd imagine that agriculture and nutrition are very intertwined, but it's very interesting to understand that people are still working in silos. And so this is the effort that ANSRC is going to put into this process to bring together people, not just in nutrition, not just in agriculture, private sector, even bring in business people to think about, even as they're developing food for the food industry, how are they integrating nutrition information? So we are honored to be here, and thank you very much.
Forgive me if I don't sound like recently I had hip surgery. I'd just like to go back to Deborah and Richard Deckelbaum from Rockefeller, Columbia University in New York. They have had for many years the Institute of Human Nutrition, which has been rated the #1 PhD graduate program in the United States, which means up there in the world. And they, about 15 years ago, I met with Richard. I've been in Kenya now for some 25 years. And I met with Richard because Deborah and I used to know each other, and in his office, and he was doing nutrition, well, of course, in the Institute, and I was working with the MP Shaw in nutrition and AIDS. And we got together and we said, well, what we really need in Kenya is an infrastructure in nutrition to do basic research. And just one example, I think, of how important research is and where we're going. It's not just about the food we're growing, but things like pesticides and even the plastic products we have are now known to produce estrogens, like things that are causing obesity in children. And it can be passed on through the germline. And those kinds of things, that it's not just what you eat, it's also the chemical exposures. And these are the kinds of things we need to do research on in combination with nutrition and food to look about the whole health picture in nutrition. So I think it's really exciting to see us going this far.
Thank you very much. So you can see we have a whole team. FAO has now joined us. KNDI has joined us. We have the entire Ministry of Agriculture, which we never used to talk. I'm very happy, Bwana PS. Today has just brought in some hallmark that I've never believed. I think God works in very miraculous ways in doing things. So we will just try to sign as you demonstrate. Then we can do other things.
He's campaigning for his team. So
and I'm campaigning from my team, the consortium. They go and elect me again.
You can just take a photo.
Just take a photo.
Yeah, and then we go and sign. Yes. Just one photo. And then
just make it.
Yeah. Maybe so you can. Yes, that's correct. Some of you have the yeah, okay, but mine are right. So yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
You say you can never be the one. But God say, make I tell you, say now you in 1 month, 1 week.
Okay.